Hey Bobbin babes, now that we reviewed the sewing machine, we're going to work on some stitching skills. How to backstitch, and you'll be doing several rows of that. For me, a lot of you do too many thick back stitches. And it's always like the one that you have to take out where you did like the most. So let's avoid that. And we're also going to practice with pivoting and doing some top stitching. I'm going to show you some things just in a second with the presser foot that will help you line things up. Take your 7 by 7 inch square piece of fabric and iron it so you get a nice fold. Fold it in half. Ironing is really important. It's as important as the sewing machine. The presser foot. There's some things I've discovered about it just last year that I didn't know about it. Well, one thing I always used to tell you guys to do, and there was some question about it, was about seam allowances and things, that the edge of the presser foot will give you a 1/4 inch apart. When you do the next row, line up the edge of the presser foot for the next row, etc., etc. So the pivoting part of this exercise, okay, where do I start? Here. So you'll start off lining down the center. Just a little reminder, don't look at the needle. Look at where you're going and look at the line on the presser foot. I just said again. When you're sewing down, I never used to know how to stop, like where to stop, where it was 1/4 inch, so I'd always have to leave the needle down and pick up the presser foot and look and readjust. But guess what? This is amazing. The distance between where the needle is and this part between the toes on the presser foot is 1/4 inch. So when you get down to your first pivot, if you, well, that's not a good example. Let me go to the second one. When you get down to where you need to pivot on the second one, if you stop, sorry, with the front, or between the toes, that line between there, look, you have to pick up the presser foot, but when you, excuse me, I'm trying to do this on my own. When you pivot, I hope that makes sense, you're exactly a quarter inch. So again, you come along, and when you get to the line where you started at, and the needle's down, see this part of the presser foot, when it gets to the line where you started and the needle's down, and then you pivot, you'll be a 1/4 inch. This is amazing. Someone actually designed this foot so that between here and here, here and here is a 1/4 inch apart. Fantastic. So I'm going to do it myself and show you, and then you guys are going to try it. Some of you might not remember, but when you take the bobbin case out, use the lever, hold the finger upwards. It's important that the bobbin thread be coming off the bobbin like this way. I don't know how to describe it. Count clockwise. Drop it in the case. Find the notch. Pull it through under the tension plate. It's like flossing your teeth. And if you have it incorrectly, the bobbin will turn clockwise. Keep the thread behind the finger. When you insert the bobbin, make sure it's locked in place. Wiggle it with your finger a bit so you know it's locked in place. When you do the upper threading, make sure that the take-up lever is in the highest position. Make sure you get the thread guide down here And when you're threading, don't have a big long piece of thread, poke it through. The hardest, well, maybe for me, because I'm kind of blind. I'm going to leave the bobbin case open this year when I teach my Clothing 1 students, and so they can see what's happening down here. So you have to lower the needle down, and some people, when they bring the bobbin thread up, they look at the needle, and as soon as the bobbin is up, they're not paying attention to the take-up lever. The take-up lever has to be in the highest position. This is super important. It's something that I learned a few years ago that I didn't know about. So once that's in the highest position, you can pull your top thread and your bottom thread will come straight up. So pass those under the presser foot towards the back and you can close the bobbin case. It's neat to see how it works. When you start your back stitch sample, start from the folded edge. If you start from the non-folded edge, sometimes it makes the fabric squish over, and then when you get over here you have a lump. So start from the one that you have folded, and hopefully you've ironed it. Oops, I don't have my foot pedal ready. There it is. Okay, so this is how you back stitch. We're starting at a 1/4 inch seam allowance, so I'm going to put a little bit, I'm going to start a little bit forward, and you'll see it on the diagram that I gave you. And you have to hold your reverse stitch up. You have to hold up when you're back stitching. So you hold up, you go back a few stitches, you let go, and then you go forward. Guide the fabric even with the presser foot, not too fast, and keep your hand here guiding the material. When you get near the end, slow down, and you can use the hand wheel to get to the end and then reverse stitch back about 3 stitches. When you finish, make sure that the take-up lever is in the highest position. Just don't look at the needle, look at the take-up lever is up. Lift the presser foot, slide it back. You can use the thread guide to cut back over here. What I like to do is, excusez-moi, I like to cut the threads rather than use a thread clipper there, because then it saves you an action. If you cut it there, you still have to go back and cut. Then get in the habit of trimming your threads as you go. So trim, trim. We're ready for the next row. Make sure the threads are towards the back. Line up your fabric a little bit in. Lower the presser foot. You guys, don't slam it down. That's bad. It's good. Lower it down like that. Put the needle into the fabric. Reverse. Reverse the stitch. Let go. Go forward. Don't look at the needle. Look at the thread is lining up with the edge of the presser foot. That's a 1/4 inch. Oops, I went off. When you get to the end, slow down, reverse stitch. I don't know, do what you think is right for you. I like to clip closely when I get to the end because it saves me from doing an extra clip. And then I like to clip, clip. Make sure all the threads go into the little thread basket thing. And then you continue. So hopefully when I see your work, you'll just have a few stitches forward and back, forward and back. So when you start in, back, forward and back. So there's no need to go back and forth. Let's look at the pivoting exercise. Pivoting with using the presser foot as a measuring guide. Again, I start on the folded side. If you start on the non-folded side, when you get to the folded side, sometimes it crunches up. So again, we back stitch to begin with. Set it in a little bit. Back stitch a few. Go forward, lining up with the presser foot. Now we're getting to the really neat part of the presser foot that I just learned about last year. The fantastic designers that think about industrial design. Just use my hand wheel. When the edge of the fabric gets to the front, in between the toes there, the gap, that's a 1/4 inch. Yay, I love it. Leave the needle down, pivot, go across. Don't sew too fast, you guys. Be mellow and breathe. Okay, I'm getting close to where the gap in between the toes is. Needle down, pivot. Oops. Line up with the edge of the presser foot. Getting close. Just there I am. Not exactly even, but that's okay. Now right here I see some threads. I don't want to get those caught or stuck under my next part. So I'm going to trim those front and back. Put them in my little thread can over here. Press your foot down. Zoom, zoom, zoom. Okay, here I'm coming to where I need to line up to pivot. So there I am. Line up the edge of the presser foot. We're sewing! And we learned a new thing, how to top stitch. Top stitching makes everything look better. Oops, I went a little too close. Get back on track. Down, up, down. Try to make things as nice as you can, because, oops, look. Oh, yeah, I'm right. Okay. Down, up, pivot. Try to make things as nice as you can in life, because what we do every day is what matters. And as a special treat to my Clothing 2 students, I'm going to take some pictures of my chickens to end this video. Thank you. Bye. Hi, here's my backyard. My chickens live back here. I have a whole vegetable garden. That's composting. And I have vegetables and herbs. And there's my girls. There's my girls. Let's see. I'm going to introduce you to my clothing students. Every time I come back here, they think I have food. Bandit. That's Bandit. Fluffy. Look how pretty she is. She has boots. She has boots. Oh, she's trying to peck the camera. And that's Tiger, because look, she's orange and red. I love my girls. They've been hot. It's been hot this week. I know, it's been hot. See, they think I have food, which I do. I do have food. I have treats for you. They're getting a little bit of yummy leftover mashed potatoes and zucchini.